this evening.
And you know, that's the advantage of this type of fighting versus boxing. In boxing, you're not allowed to quit. You know, you take too much abuse.
It's very, very true. A fighter will not quit by himself. When I work in a corner as a ringside physician, I'll look at the manager. And it's the manager who'll look at me and say, I think he's had enough. The fighter himself will not submit.
All right, our next bout, Serge Narsisyan from France and Willie Peeters from Holland. And these two combatants, Peeters 2 years younger, an inch in height, goes to Narsisyan. The weight within 10 pounds, the discipline, free fighting for Peeters, and Savat for Sisyan.
Savat is the traditional Parisian form of self-defense. It combines karate, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling.
For those unfamiliar with it, it can be a devastating martial arts form. Gerard Gordeau fought in one of the original events in this country and did extremely well in this.
And I believe that reality-based fighting will be the sport of the 21st century.
As you see by the graphic, the Holland cage match champion.
Yes, he can kick, punch, and grapple. He's a well-rounded fighter.
Well, we'll see. The Savat fighter will try and stay on his feet. What he will do best are low-lying leg kicks, as well as his punches. He'll try and stand up. The question is, can he do so?
All right, let's go up to Chuck Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next event, featuring a young man who hails from the country of Holland, is a proponent of free fighting. He stands at 6 feet 1 inches. He weighs 220 pounds. Introducing Willie Peeters. And his opponent hails from the country of France. He's an advocate of Savat and Sambo combat. He stands at 6 feet 2 inches tall. He weighs 230 pounds. Introducing Serge Narsisyan.
And this bout is officially underway. And shots immediately exchanged, and then the kicks. And the takedown.
At this point, Peeters is within the guard of the Parisian fighter, attempting to keep him off, trying to keep his distance away. Remains to be seen how experienced, how proficient he is from this position.
You know, I've seen Peeters fight in Holland. He's tough.
You know, what the Parisian is trying to do is, Narsisyan's trying to keep him close. He doesn't want to give him distance to allow him to punch.
It is Peeters right now in control. Narsisyan trying to maintain.
Although it's for the experienced fighter, the position that Narsisyan is in will be to their advantage. A Brazilian fighter will be much more happy, much more comfortable where the Parisian is rather than where Peeters is.
I mean, Peeters has hit him with a headbutt 5 times already. 5.
That's going to scramble you a little bit, isn't it?
He's not like tomorrow. He needs to keep him close. He needs to keep careful watch on Peeters' arms. He doesn't want to get hit. He doesn't want to get headbutted.
That's right. Keep punching. Hit the field. Go. Attrape la jambe.
Once again, the exchange is being made, and you see the headbutt attempt, and then a couple of shots with the right hand.
Peeters is getting distance. He'll be very happy to stay in this position all night if he's getting distance and he can punch.
And another headbutt.
To punch from the bottom in the guard is very difficult. He's really getting no power.
It's impossible to get leverage if you're on the bottom.
The advantage on the bottom is being able to work an arm lock, a choke, a leg lock. The question is, does Narsisyan know enough from this position to be able to do it?
Obviously, he is not comfortable being in this bottom position. He's generally used to being standing up.
Now, this is something we've seen more and more, where fighters are comfortable being within the guard and punching down on their opponent if the person on the bottom doesn't really know how to use this position to their advantage.
And another headbutt.
The fingers.
pressure against the neck. It's annoying.
I mean, and he's using his forearm against the throat, so that cuts down the wind, which makes the opponent tired.
Absolutely.
Peeters once again maintaining his stature up above. And finally, the kick out, and Peeters is looking for another avenue. He's trying to roll him over.
Peeters should be, Narsisyan should have been on his feet. That's where he fights.
Him out.
And that's exactly right now. Yeah, Peeters was looking for that avenue, and he got it.
Hooks are in. Let's see what he can do from here.
Ron, since you have seen Peeters in action before, does he generally try to control from the top like this?
Yes, he does, and he can rain some heavy punches down if he can get them off.
But all of a sudden, the big change.
Now, Narsisyan is trying to place his arms around the neck in the guillotine choke. He doesn't, however, have any leverage. His legs are not wrapped around his opponent. It's going to be difficult, if not impossible.
And it is Peeters now who is attempting to escape. Once again, they are bunched up against the fence, and one of the rules is you cannot use the fence to your advantage. And they separate.
Narsisyan looks tired.
And Peeters senses and tries to close in.
Seriously, Narsisyan certainly is not adopting the standard posture for a savant fight.
No, he isn't. I think he's tired already, and when you get tired, it's really hard to keep to your strategy. You know, punching an opponent's head will affect you. You will not be able to punch in your next fight. It's unbelievable.
And one of the rules of this event is, interestingly, if someone wears gloves, if a combatant wears gloves, they're very thin. Wearing heavy gloves changes the fight completely.
It allows you to punch more and harder and longer.
Tom Erickson in our first round had gloves on.
There's a knockdown from the right. Narsisyan is on his back. The question is, can he defend himself?
And that's it.
The referee steps in and says no.
And that's it right there. Peeters. And he will indeed fight another time. And they will attend quickly to Narsisyan to make sure that he is okay.
From a physician standpoint, the care here is second to none. There are specialists in every area.
And even Peeters went over to make sure that his opponent was all right.
He's not hurt. He's just tired. I know how tired you can get in there.
All right, let's go up to the ring and Chuck Hull.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 5 minutes, 3 seconds. The winner by submission due to a towel being thrown to the center of the ring. From down under in Holland, Willie Peeters.
So, Ron, Willie Peeters surprises you with what you saw early on in this fight. He maybe went away from what you were accustomed to seeing.
I expected Willie to do that. I mean, what he does is he closes the gap, and he can grapple. He can strike and grapple, and it's very important.
Well, you talk about the grappling. Here is the takedown right here.
Well, it was an attempt to take down by Narsisyan.
Sort of at half in a guard there. Here's the escape.
And this was well executed here by Narsisyan.
Narsisyan finally gave himself some distance and got up on his side. Now,
and they will move along now to the end of the fight when indeed the towel is tossed in. And
there's that right.
Right, and both Alan and Ron indicated that at this particular time Narsisyan was just worn out.
Completely exhausted.
The referee very appropriately stepped in. One point that we just saw as Narsisyan